Hello, how are you? My name is Raphael Chigne. I'll be talking about the word of Englishes. Word of Englishes. What does it mean? What do we understand for it? Does English has a plural? Or just it does? Word of Englishes refers to the differences in the English language around the world. The word of Englishes, it's a variety of English, such as in Australia, American, British, and others. Word of English, also known as a lingua franca, and also a global language. Uses it and uses mainly in business trade, diplomacy, and other global activities. The global spread of English. It happens on by migration and colonialism. On the migration, we have the Australian, the New Zealand, and the Americans or United States. Colonialism. By the late 18th century, the British Empire had spread English through his colony and geopolitical party, such as India, Singapore, Philippines. Variety of English, and here's the topic that I like to uh, focus. Do you know the advantage of speaking English? Do you know the disadvantage of don't speak English? Well, let me start with the advantage. Facilitate the communication between different cultures, facilitate international trades, job opportunity, make more money. Disadvantages, many. The first one will be possess a threat to non-native speakers. Um, presents challenge to minority languages. Opportunities in a different ways. English is the best language to communicate globally. Like I said, it's very interesting tool, powerful tool. So you'll be able to communicate with someone from other culture. Someone for instance, on this screen, I have a Peruvian, which is I'm a Peruvian native, with an Ukrainian and a Chinese. You'll be able to communicate, although they're all from different continents. Little story short. Immigrate to the United States. Like I said before, I'm a Peruvian native. I emigrated in the 90s, in the early 90s to the United States. And funny story, I was working in I was hired in a company for this delivery trucks part or 18 wheelers, large trucks. To make the story short, I was like I said, when I immigrated, the first thing I did was to learn the language and to the extent to be able to communicate fluently. Like I say, I was hired at this company and I was working, I was hired as a driver. Didn't know that much about driving things, parts. Well, I know about driving, but no, not to deliver those big parts. But then again, the funny part begins when I was the manager kind of overhear me talking in English, and he approached to me the day after I was hired, and he says, hey, look here, I can see that you speak English, and actually, I need you to work for me in my department. Didn't know nothing about because, like I said, I was very young. I didn't know that much of a part about truck parts or in for the company I was working for, just a driver. So the guy asked me, all I need you to do, Ralph, he says, I want you to help me out with it translating. There's a lot of people that he was in charge of, I think, about 20 people on the factory, and I want you to help me out with it. Just translate whatever the hell they're saying. I don't understand. And remember, back then they don't have no Facebook, no Google Translate, Instagram, none of that. So funny story was that by then I was hired, let's say on Monday, but next week I was already supervising people only because I speak English. Well, it was a funny story, and all I want to say is the more language you know, the better. And if you speak English, believe me, there is a lot of opportunities out there. I want to share this by Professor David Crystal, the global languages. Every aspect of your culture, myth, legends, the food you eat, the folklore you have, the song, the dance institution, which is talked about in English, will be a flavor which it might not understand. Language acquisition cannot be separate from cultural acquisition. And here's a video, a small video that I want to share also with you.
A language becomes a global language because of the power of the people who speak it. It's nothing to do with the structure of the language. It's nothing about English grammar or vocabulary or pronunciation or spelling that makes English an appealing language at a global level. In fact, if you think about it, English spelling would put most people off, you'd think. So it's nothing to do with the structure of language. No, it's all to do with power. But power means different things at different times. English first became international because of political power, military power, the power of the British Empire, really. But it isn't just political that takes a language around the world. There have got to be other factors too. A century later, we were talking about the 16th, 17th century there, we had the power of science, of technology, the Industrial Revolution. English is the language of science. That started then as something like 2/3 of the people who invented all the things that make modern society what it is, did so through the medium of the English language. And then in the 19th century, economic power. Money talks always, and the language it was talking in the 19th century was English, because America and Britain between them had the money markets of the world sewn up for the most part. And then in the 20th century, we have cultural power, with English being the language of the vast majority of the inventions that make modern society what it is. So it's English turning up in the, as it were, almost the right place at the right time during these last 400 years or so that has produced the enormous global status that it currently has.
There is, isn't it? Thank you very much. My name is Raphael Chigne.